When you are a CEO and a content creator, you are constantly hearing how you need to not talk about too many things because otherwise it's going to get confusing for other people. That you need to stay in this lane so that it makes sense and you fit the box, and how all of your talents and every facet of you cannot be shown because, oh, that gets too confusing. When truly being multifaceted is your edge. It's what allows you to truly stay ahead of the game. It allows you to thrive even further. Hello, I am your host Malika and welcome to the podcast. So, let's be honest, who isn't multifaceted? I feel that as a creative entrepreneur or just as a creator, you are so creative. It is literally in your bone. You were born being creative. You were born having so many facets and so many things to yourself. And the thing is, you don't need to dilute that in order for your personal brand to make sense, in order for your business to make sense. Because having so many things that you want to talk about or bring up or that you are passionate about or so many talents, it doesn't have to look messy. It doesn't have to feel messy. It doesn't have to feel confusing. And it doesn't have to fit into this perfect little box with a super simple label that just fit every single aspect of you as a human being and as a person and as a CEO and as a content creator into this one box. Okay, that is not realistic, and most of the times is usually why I see so many people literally start to hate and resent kind of how they're building their personal brand or their content or whatnot, right? And it is this feeling of needing to, be into a label that perfectly fits the ideal of what you hear out there so much, So let's get into that. Okay, go grab your matcha, go on your hot girl walk. Now, let's just be real, okay? When you are out here in the online space, okay, that you're out there because you have a business, you're creating content for your business, you have to constantly deal every single day with, seeing how other people create their content or seeing all the advice that is getting circulated online and how so many different people are saying so many different things. And it's oh, you should post in the morning and you shouldn't post on this day of the week because then that's not good. Or, okay, you cannot talk about all of these topics, you need to niche down and that's what's going to make the most sense. There's all these rules that you literally have to deal with constantly. This is why it is so important to be so deeply rooted what is actually expanding me and making me feel good. And especially when you are someone who has so many facets of yourself, you have so many passion, you are multifaceted, but you also don't want it to be confusing for your clients and you don't want it to be confusing for your audience. And you're just you don't want it to look all over the place. It can feel harder sometimes to navigate all of these different advice because the thing is, when it's messy inside of your head and then on top of that you are getting other people come in on top of that and tell you shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. Oh my god, of course your head is about to explode. And it is so important to know what the so-called rule that you're getting told as a creator, as a leader, that are the ones that actually they are not serving you. The most obvious one being, niching down. Because when you start to niche down, and for example, you're only ever talking about this one specific topic that you think is what your audience needs from you, or that you think is what people wants to hear from you, then you get super narrowed, right? And the thing is, you start losing your edge. You start losing the spark that people feel when they are either working with you or when they are actually in your containers or when they are sitting in your chair with your service. People buy from people, right? And so if all that we're seeing is just one dimensional, then that is going to reflect on your personal brand. It has different layers, just like you do as a human being, right? And this is when knowing yourself and knowing your strength and knowing what match you as a multi-dimension woman. How exactly do you turn, being multifaceted into your biggest advantage? How do you get to do that? How the hell do I turn it into something that benefits me rather than makes my head explode? I'm glad you asked. At the end of the day, it's kind of you don't want to be working against yourself. You know, when you're thinking of the impact that you're creating, the content that you're creating, the business that you're building, the client that you're serving, like the way that is going to impact the most people and also get like impact your life as well is going to be by you not standing in your own way. Like when you're always filtering yourself, censoring yourself, it's like you're removing all of the things that are part of all of the ways that you uniquely think, that you uniquely bring to the table, aka the very thing that your personal brand needs in order to thrive. Essentially, the things that makes it so that we know you are not like everybody else. And this is the thing, right? You get to create a personal brand and a world and a business in which matches you so much more. Right? And inevitably that will impact the kind of people that get attracted to that. That creates much more impact and it's much more effective, right? And so this is part of the strategy, but people overlook it and think, well, no, that's not part of the strategy, but it is. Now, I really think it's important to know and understand, how you do get to expand within all of your talent and passion without it compromising your success. Okay. So meaning like, you don't want it to look messy or like you're like, you don't want it to be like a beautiful mess. You want it to be very impactful and the very thing that becomes your edge. That's not the thing that weighs you down and dilutes your brand, but it's the thing that actually emphasize it and strengthen the presence of the contents that you put out there as a CEO, as a creator. Let's say you are a injection nurse, okay, and then you start creating content with, for example, how you take care of yourself and everything. It's like, what is, the intention behind you sharing this aspect of your life, even though it technically has nothing to do with the service that you offer. Okay. So this is where we start filtering out, okay, is this being messy or is this being intentional? Being multifaceted is actually such an advantage. It is such an advantage, but it's truly about having a lot more discernment and guidance when it comes to, the intention behind what you share and why. If we are using, this aspect of your life that you are taking care of yourself and everything to influence how your clients think and how you think that, okay, yes, you want to have these modifications to your face or your lips or whatever, but these are part of my values and this is exactly what I stand for as a multifaceted woman that like does this as my career. But then also why I'm sharing this aspect of my life is because it shows my value and what I stand for, which inevitably affects the kind of clients that I will attract and also affect what I stand for and who chooses me in order to go with that service, because we have the same values and belief system and I'm kind of like almost buying into your world. This is going to amplify your brand and not make it look messy, right? But for example, let's say I'm only sharing this and I'm never connecting the dot to why I'm sharing this, then this is when it kind of starts becoming more messy. And then you start overthinking and you're like, oh my God, is this really doing anything for my brand, right? So this is kind of like the difference. Now, the same applies when it comes to if you yourself have like multiple talents and you're tying it kind of like all into one business, because the direct connection line is yourself as an artist and you do many things, for example. What is important is honestly the trajectory line in which your things all connect together. If it feels messy when you are telling someone else or when you are creating your content, that is going to feel messy on the other end of people consuming that. You never want all of your talents to compromise your success, okay? And this happens, and this can happen if you are too messy or too vague or piling on too much stuff at once. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you're saying, I do hair treatment and I also help men style themselves and I also help you get healthy. All of these things separately make sense, but if you're piling all of this on top of each other, there is no connection line for your premium clients to be like, oh my God, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Because it just feels like three different identity. Like the goal is to you need to like kind of like connect them together and find your trajectory line and get very specific. Of course, the trajectory line is, let's say, well-being of the person, but that is way too vague. You know, if someone say, I help you with your well-being, then I can think of 3,000 different things. But I don't specifically think of, okay, my style is going to be elevated. I'm going to be more healthy, and I'm going like, you know, it's kind of like it really comes down to connect all of your talents together into a way that does call them instead of call three different group of people, if this is something that you want to either sell together or that you do want to have the same kind of clientele for all of these things. Essentially, all of your talents, all of your passion, they need to connect. There needs to be a trajectory line or something very clear that connects them so that they don't feel like separate things, if that makes sense, like that stands on their own. Actually, as we speak, I am currently working on a hot messaging training. Now, this is going to be so amazing and is going to be part of my exclusive mentorship, is going to be part of the training within that mentorship for your personal brand. This is the thing that I feel a lot of people get wrong, which is like, it's not so much that you can't have all of these different talents and all of these different passion and all of these different facets of yourself. It's more so how you execute, the way that you connect them and layer them within your personal brand so that it makes sense and it doesn't look confusing from someone on the outside that's kind of entering your world. And that is done through having more focus and also more clarity. These things don't need to be filtered out. Like I keep saying, okay, this is literally your edge. This is the thing that make you so iconic. This is the reason that you will literally be ahead of every single person. Perfect example that I have for this, okay, is that obviously my business has nothing to do with Pilates and yoga. But you all know that I love my Pilates, I love my yoga, I love my pink outfits. And being able to layer that within my brand has allowed me to work with yoga and Pilates studio. And you know, yes, I am a CEO and I also create content for my business, but I'm also able to expand my opportunities, and it doesn't have to be something that compromises your success, like all of these other people saying niche down, do this. Like, no. No. What we want to do is not, okay, what is acceptable? What is everybody else doing? What are the rule book saying? It's more, what hasn't been done? What is lacking? What do my clients enjoy the most that would be so awesome to do? It really requires you to have another kind of confidence that is required in order to like fully embrace all of these parts of yourself without apology, and just like putting it out there and being like, yeah, shifting from, okay, what is acceptable to what am I setting the tone for? Like, you are just in another different kind of mind space. Like, you are not out here waiting for permission. You are not out here being like, oh, what is everybody else doing? You're just like being, okay, like this is me and I want to show myself fully. Okay, this also ties in with being okay that like you do want to show yourself fully, and like that is what it requires out of you. That is when you truly get ahead of the game and everybody else out there, right? Because everyone can copy what you are doing, but they will never have the secret sauce, which is you. You are the secret sauce. But if you are constantly hiding the secret sauce away, how are you getting ahead? You can't. It is one of the things that makes such a big difference when it comes to your personal brand, when it comes to your content, when it comes to just people feeling such a magnetic pull towards you. And I'm not going to listen to all of the noise that gives me such a headache and make me resent the way that I show up or resent the way that I need to present myself. Lead with your multifaceted identity instead of hiding it and filtering it. Okay? And so it is to truly lead with that rather than that being on the back burner. Okay, we're putting it back in the front seat. And this ultimately leads me into, what the new era of leaders and creators is going to look like. People are tired of having super generic content that they've seen over and over again, to hear the same topic talked about the same way over and over again, to see the same pretty pictures over and over again. And so the new era is going to be the one where like multifaceted women gets to thrive the most, because people and consumers and audiences are so sick and tired and find it so boring to see the same thing repeat over and over and over again. Like at some point, like maybe it was special, but now like there's so much content online, there's so many creators, there's so many businesses, there's so many things out there that it's kind of like it's not giving that edge, it's not giving that spice, it's not giving that iconic factor. This is why the new era of creators and leaders are going to be the multifaceted women. They're going to be the one who are winning bigger and succeeding faster. They are the trendsetter. They are the one leading the way. They are the one inviting you into their world, which has so many different facets of it. This is the new era that we are leading into. And the niching down and the following this like strict advice that makes you feel like you're diluting yourself or filtering yourself or fitting yourself into a single box, that is going to die, and people are going to be bored of that. And the women that have so many talents and so many things to say and so much passion, like they are going to thrive the most. And I know that is you. And so this is literally the new era. This is the new era that we are heading into 2026 and further down the line. Like this is the era that we are now in, because I can tell you that like everyone is sick of the ChatGPT hook. Everyone is sick of like 3 tips to whatever. It's like, how can I feel you? How can I connect with you? How can I feel the experience? How can I like connect with, like, how can I get invested in your world? How can I get invested in you? How can I get invested in your business? Like, give me something. When I think of, for example, the Eras Tour with Taylor Swift, I was watching it on Disney and they're showing all of the different process and all of the stories of the people that are on the crew and everything. It's like, oh my God, that is the definition of multifaceted, and letting it be multifaceted, and it all connects to a trajectory line, but it's all deeply connected and all makes sense, but it's so deep and it makes you so invested. And so this is kind of like how I love to think about it, right? There's so many facets, there's so many different stories, there's so many different things, there's so many emotions, there's so many talent, there's so many passion, right? But it all makes sense, and this is the era that you will thrive the most. If you love this episode, I would love to know your thought on this. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment and let me know what your thoughts are, and definitely send this episode over to a friend, because trust me, they need to hear it. Thanks so much for tuning in, and don't forget to leave your 5-star rate and review on the podcast. I love to know what you guys think of the episodes, and I will meet you here next week.